Hello, people. Most people think the big moments are where change happens. The emotional breakthrough, swelling grief, collapse that you finally admit that you feel. But the truth is quieter than that. Change starts in the tiny, almost invisible moments where your body tries to speak and you interrupt it. You know these moments, even if you've never named them. The slight lift of your chest before you take a deeper breath, and then you swallow it down. The minute impulse to turn your head away, and instead you smile politely. The feeling of your spine wanting to uncurl, but you tighten it instead. That yawn that threatens to expand and get seized back into stillness. The hip that wants to shift, the voice that wants to sound, the foot that wants to step back, the jaw that wants to soften or tremble or open. These micro movements are the body's native language, where we return to these micro movements, and when we do, we begin rebuilding a kind of body-based awareness that most of us were never taught to trust. This is the quiet intelligence that lives under the story. And yet most of us have learned to shut them down long before the signal even reaches consciousness. Not because something is wrong with you, but because somewhere along the way your body learned it's safer to stop than to feel. It's safer to hold than to express. It's safer to stay still than to risk being seen. This is what somatic conditioning looks like, not as a concept, but as a lived experience. It's the moment before that moment where your system tries to complete something and you override it so quickly that you don't even notice. When you stop these impulses, you don't just interrupt movement, you interrupt completion, regulation, truth, capacity. The body does not forget. It just files the incomplete impulse somewhere deeper, where it becomes tension or anxiety, reactivity, projection, or the sense that you're not aligned with who you are, you're not feeling who you are. But when you begin to notice these impulses, when you begin to track the very first whisper of your body's communication, this is the foundation of body-based awareness. Noticing the moment that your system speaks before the mind interprets, edits, shuts it down, or goes into autopilot. You open the door to something profoundly different. A relationship with yourself that is not mediated by conditioning. A space is created. A fluency in your body's language begins. And more of you becomes embodied. A deeper listening emerges, and with it, a fuller congruency in how you move through life. And this is where your nervous system starts to settle. This is where resilience grows. This is the part most people skip. And it's the part that matters the most. Awareness is not about suddenly being more mindful. It's not about self-correction or control or trying to do better. Awareness begins with the smallest possible window. Could I notice one moment today where my body wanted to respond and I stopped it? Just one? Maybe it was the impulse to sigh, or to step away, or to say no sooner. or to put your hand on your own heart, or to rest your eyes. Once you start noticing these micro pauses, a new map appears or emerges, one where you can finally track the difference between your authentic impulse and your conditioned one. This is where the body speaks before story comes in. And it's the fertile ground where healing happens. When you don't interrupt that impulse, when you allow the body to complete that loop, a breath that completes itself, a boundary clarifies itself, a trembling discharges, a truth emerges, a no that arrives a little bit sooner, a little bit quicker, and a fuck yeah that lands deeper in the knowing. Your system finds the next step naturally, not through effort, but through allowing. The intelligence is already there. The body already knows. This is why presence matters. Not as a spiritual ideal, but as a practical skill that can change your life. Every time you let your body complete what it needs to do, you reclaim a part of yourself that was once shut down. You stop living in survival patterns that don't belong to you anymore. You begin bracing against life, or you stop bracing against life and start joining it, participating it, co-creating with it. And you begin a lifelong learning of something essential. Your body is always trying to bring you back to you. You just need to stop interrupting the conversation. Thank you. One love.